Hi, guys, and welcome to Lash Talk with the Lash Vault. This is our very first episode in this series where we're going to be talking about all things being a lash artist and growing as a lash business owner. So I'm very excited. For our first episode, we have a very special guest, Miss Tia, who is also a lash artist here in Atlanta, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about herself.
Hi guys, as Myra said, my name is Tia. I am the owner of AK Lash, Amani Couture LLC to be exact. I am originally from New York City and I did move to Atlanta about 3 years ago, so I'm excited to be in Atlanta and I met some really good lash sisters. I'm very honored to be the first guest on this series. I feel extremely grateful and extremely appreciated. And I thank you for that.
Thank you for coming on here.
Yes, I'm very excited because this is also like my first time doing like a talk like this.
Okay.
So this is new.
This is new.
This is new.
Well, the first thing I actually want to ask you, since you just told everyone you just moved here from, well, you didn't just move here. It's been 3 years since you've been here from New York.
It still feels like I just moved here sometimes.
Really?
Some days it feels like it, some days it doesn't.
Okay. What made you move here to Atlanta, and how has your experience been being a lash artist in Atlanta versus being a lash artist in New York?
Good question. So what I would say is I decided to move from New York. Let me tell y'all. I decided to leave New York because for one, I was just sick of that. I was just sick of that environment. And sometimes it's only but so far you can go in an environment. So when you're trying to expand and you're trying to learn new things and you're trying to be around people that are just not only doing what you're doing, but willing to help you do what they're doing. And, I think being from New York and being in New York all of the time around New York people is very, complacent, very stagnant in terms of when I was in New York, I would say I was hustling. When I came to Atlanta, I feel like that's when I really started to be a business owner because I was taught about LLC. I was going to networking events. I was interacting. I was, on podcasts, hanging out with girls who are lash artists and who are willing to say, hey, your work is nice. Let's do this. Hey, let's get together and make content. In New York, that wasn't happening.
I'm not going to say that's crazy because I hear that from a lot of people. But after being in the industry this is 7 years, I've been a business owner now. That's crazy. 7 years I've been a business owner. There are a lot of things that are important that I've learned to grow a business. But I think that one of the most important aspects of growing as an entrepreneur is being around people that are doing the same things that you want to do.
Absolutely.
Or doing things better than you are actually doing them. And it was hard for me to learn that because, believe it or not, I'm a very introverted person. And I'm a very introverted person. I like being to myself. I like being at home. We talked, but it's because I realized it is so important to surround yourself around the right people. And it was difficult because I do have a lot of friends who aren't business owners, and it's nothing to them at all because
that was another thing.
I am not the person to say you only need to have business owners as your friends, but I'm able to learn so much more from putting myself out there, going to networking events, meeting people, learning things. Even if I go to an event and I'm there for 10 hours and I learn one thing, it's still better than not learning anything. And then also, like you said, the connections that you make. There are people that I may have met from years ago and I'm able to call on them and say, hey, what do you think about this? Is this a good idea? So being around the right people in the right environment is
very important.
Very important as an entrepreneur.
I also think that outside of being around people that are just business and, business owners and not limiting yourself to say, oh, I only want business friends. I grew up to realize that I actually don't think there's anything wrong with that. Because again, if you're around business owners, then eventually you will become a business owner. And if that's your end goal, then you need to surround yourself with people that are more like-minded. And what I started to realize is that some of my friends in New York, we disconnected on a lot of things because eventually I'm not thinking as just like, a person anymore. I'm thinking as a business owner. So being a business owner, your mind just thinks differently. You know, you're thinking all the time, rapid, quick on your feet, solution based.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's nothing to say that I don't love my friends any less that are not business owners, but there were a lot of things that I just feel like eventually we just ended up disconnecting on. Like there's a disconnect there.
Yeah.
Because it's stuff that they would do even to my business and it would frustrate me. And I'm your friend. And I would tell them like, you just, you know, like you can't do that because I know, you know what I'm saying, the back end that goes into having a business. So it boils also down to where it's just like, I can't get you to understand what you're also not willing to understand.
That was a really good point there.
You know, it's just like, I could come talk to you and I'll tell you something. You like, absolutely, that's crazy. To where, you know, like you go talk to your other friend who's not a business owner and she's like, yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. And I'm like this is not going to work.
We're not here right now.
Yeah, this is not, we're not equally yoked. This is not going to work.
I like that you said that, though, the mindset of a business owner, because one of the first things that I teach like a student or like someone that's coming into a program and wanting mentorship, or somebody that's asking me like, how do I grow as a lash artist or a hairstylist or whatever the case might be, is to stop thinking of yourself as just a lash artist and start thinking of yourself as a business owner. Because like you said, when you start thinking of yourself as a business owner, your decision making is completely different than as if, yeah, I just do lashes. And so I haven't told somebody I do lashes in a long time. Like I have made it a point to say I'm a lash business owner to really make myself begin to operate like a CEO, somebody who has something to lose. And that's a big disconnect that I noticed in the industry. And like you said, even with some of my friends, again, I love them to death, but there are some things where I'm like,
you just will never understand. And I don't know, maybe you need to just, you know, make a business yourself one day. And I think that's also the thing. Like, it's not just having a business, it's also like being a CEO.
Yeah.
And I went to a business event actually out here, and the first thing that she had said, and it really stuck out to me, and I was like, this is exactly why I'm here, is because she said, the hustler and you must die so that the CEO and you can live. And to me, that was very important because it's like a CEO doesn't do everything themselves. They build a team. And I think a hustler, you're trying to do everything yourself because at that point, you're hustling for the dollar and not more, you know, thinking longevity.
Right.
So when you're thinking about the money, that means you're willing to do anything and anything to get the money right now.
Yeah.
Whereas like sometimes a business and longevity, you don't see that until longer down the line. So even sometimes as being a business owner, you know, there are sacrifices and things that you're going to have to be okay with not having for the bigger purpose.
Very true. Very true. One of the most controversial things I would say about me as a CEO or a business owner is that I do not do squeeze-ins. And
really,
I do not offer squeeze-in appointments. I haven't offered a squeeze-in appointment in so long because I understand that, like we were just saying, I can't hustle in order to get to where I'm trying to get to. And so the schedule that I have posted online is to accommodate the business owner in me. So it allows me the time to be a great lash artist and service my clients on the regular.
Setting boundaries.
But also setting boundaries because there are so many things that are more important in growing the business than always offering the service. And so a lot of my clients were kind of like, man, you don't do squeeze-ins. And it's not something I announced. I just started saying I don't have it. And you know what they did?
Booking on time.
They started booking on time. They started pre-booking their appointments. And
so you get it or you don't.
You either get it or you don't. Or I have a team that can service you if you want to get that service done. And it was difficult for me. But like you said, the hustler in me had to die for the CEO in me to be able to live.
They're doing a really great job. As you can see, it worked. You know what I'm saying? As soon as the hustler died and the CEO alive, look how, you know, it was already successful. But with me just meeting you 3 years ago, I could also see, you know, changes along the 3 years. And you can definitely tell that there has been like some upgrowth and it's going uptrend. You know, it's not going like, what's going on? You know, it's very like, it's consistent in terms of growth.
Thank you.
So yes, that's good.
It was a hard decision to make, but when I
made love our clients.
I love my clients, and I don't want to make it seem like I don't love my clients. I don't love servicing them, but that is why so many lash artists and hairstylists and nail techs are burnt out because there's no boundaries, which that actually brings me to my next question I have for you. Okay.
My back literally started hurting as soon as you said burnt out.
Exactly. You start thinking about it like, oh my gosh.
Already hurting.
My next question that I have for you: how do you feel about the current climate in the beauty industry? Because there is a lot of tension that we're seeing all over social media between clients and service providers. And why do you think that is? What is the problem? How do you feel about that climate in the industry?
My take on the climate in the industry right now is that I feel like there's a disconnect between clients and business owners and service providers, because not everyone is maneuvering their business as a business owner, and I can hold myself accountable as well. I feel like there are people that see me as a service provider.
Right.
So you treat me as a service provider. And then there's some people that sees me as a business owner. So they respect me as a business owner. Even from me changing locations from New York to Atlanta, I had to become a business owner and not a service provider, because you're now seeing me as someone who could just get on a flight and come to you and service you, you know? When it's just like, that's absurd, because if I moved my business all the way here now, why would I still be going back and forth just to service you? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for a minute, I was doing it because, again, we do love our clients.
Right.
And it created tension between me and my New York clients, because, you know, that they just see me as like, oh, you just got up and you left us and now we don't have a lash artist, you know, and I've been going to you for 4 years. And, you know, they would write me like these long, literally long paragraphs.
Oh,
and I was just like, you know, like, this is a lot. Because again, it's like you don't realize how much you can impact somebody's life just by offering them a service. And even going back into the question in terms of like checking the climate between clients, business owners, I think it's a lot in the industry right now because people are not professional.
Yeah.
And clients, if we're spending, because myself, I'm a client, obviously. At some point, I can't do all of my services.
Exactly.
So even myself, sometimes I'm a client and I understand where the clients do be coming from. I normally I don't book under my business name, because I also want to see how do you treat me as just a client. Tardiness, these ridiculous, insane prices when the quality doesn't match.
Exactly.
The quality just doesn't match the price. And coming from New York, we spend money. Money is not the issue, but if I'm giving you a certain amount of money and it's not making sense, this is not somewhere where I would want to return my services to. And I think people are just getting upset because, as a service provider, as a business owner, how the economy is right now. You see what's going on in the world. You see how high things are right now for living. So it's like, to charge an arm and a leg and, it doesn't make sense. I feel like it is unfair.
Yeah.
And, as a service provider, yes, you do have, rent and stuff like that. But then that means you need to spend more time perfecting your craft before you up in your price.
Exactly. That's very true. I can second every single thing that you had to say. I think, there is a huge disconnect right now in the industry between service providers and clients. I think that a lot of service providers have this mentality as if they're doing the client a favor by offering that service for them.
Right.
And then a lot of clients feel very entitled to the service provider's time. Like you said, your client's expecting you to fly all the way back to another state to be able to
at one
service
time
them.
is insane.
It's insane. And when you're in that hustler mindset, we look at it like, oh my gosh,
I could do it all.
But you also look at it as a form of flattery. Like, my clients want me to go from state to state to be able to do their services. And so that's why we do it for a minute. That's why we do squeeze-ins and we take people at 6 o'clock in the morning. But the second you stop doing that, I had to ask myself, are these people really still coming to me because they really value my service, or are they coming to me because of convenience? And I don't want to be someone's convenience.
Right.
I want people to come to me because they value me as a service provider. They value me as a business owner, like you said. But for me, more importantly, I want people to value me as a person.
Right.
I want you to be on time because you're not the only client that I have today. And even if you are the only client that I have
Literally,
today,
still be on time.
still be on
I have
time.
something else to do today.
I have something else to do today, and I'm on time for you. So this, for me, was the biggest way to get a better clientele, and this is also very controversial as well too, is I raised my price. And I noticed that when I raised my price, the clients valued the service more. They valued me a little bit more instead of me being, lower price or a little bit cheaper, because I was attracting people again out of convenience. And
Right.
they were taking advantage of me, showing up late, asking me to work on holidays, just all types of crazy stuff. And now
Literally, Christmas morning. That's insane. Why are you not with your family?
And why don't you think that I want to be with my family?
I have a loving family at home.
Even if you're not with your family,
I am with mine.
I want to be with my family. And so at this point, I feel like I have the best clientele I could literally possibly ask for.
That's
and it
really
came
good.
from putting
Setting
my
those
foot down
boundaries,
and
yeah.
setting boundaries. Like, it was very difficult. And I think it's scary for us at first because we're like, oh, I'm going to lose
my clients, yeah.
And I did lose clients. I'm not going to lie.
But those
I
were
did
just
lose clients.
those were not the right clients for
Exactly.
you.
And they were replaced with clients that were the
for
right
you.
client. That was a good question. I like how you answered that question right there.
Thank you. So my question for you is, because I did obviously meet you out here already having your brand established, already knowing people. My question for you is, what is the meaning or the story behind the Lash Vault?
That's a really good question. I don't think anybody has ever asked me that question before. So the Lash Vault for me, like I told you, I am naturally a very introverted person. And I'm very introverted because growing up in middle school and high school, elementary school, I was bullied a lot. Like, a lot. Yes.
Not they was bullying my girl.
They were dragging me to the ground. I was bullied a lot, and it really, really took a really big toll on my self-esteem personally.
I'm very sorry that happened to you.
Every great story has an origin, and I'm grateful
and
for
now
that.
Look at them. They want their lashes done. Nope.
And do. But anyways, yeah, I was bullied a lot, and it really took a toll on my confidence, and I found a good sense of positive feeling about myself by getting into the beauty industry. And so I started out doing makeup. I was just doing my own makeup, and I really liked the way that it made me feel. And some of my friends started asking me to do their makeup. That didn't work out. Didn't like being a makeup artist. So I tried hair.
Self-made MUA.
No, didn't work out. I tried doing hair. Hair didn't really work out for me either. And then one day I just took a lash class, and like I said, got into the industry because I knew that I liked making women feel good about themselves, because that's how I felt good about myself, was, doing my makeup and doing my hair and things like that. And so I started the Lash Vault, which actually started as my Lash Vault, which was supposed to be a play on my name. Yeah. But I wanted to separate myself from the business. And so about a year later, we transitioned to the Lash Vault. And so, our biggest goal, and our motto literally behind the Lash Vault, is crafting confidence and community through lash artistry. And so making women feel confident about themselves, but also a place of community for my students and my mentees, and even some of my clients. Like, I've been to some of their birthdays, I've been to baby showers, I've been to so many
I'll be
things.
like this, when did we become friends?
I'll be there too.
And I love to see them. I love to see them, you know what I'm saying, like really living their life, because, they be dumping some stuff on us at these lash appointments.
Exactly.
So it's like to see you in like a different light, and to know that you value me enough to even, yet alone, invite me to your birthday, invite your baby shower.
Baby showers.
Like, now I gotta come with a gift,
I'm gonna come with a gift.
And I want to see the kids. Like, I'm Auntie Lash.
Send me pictures.
I'm Auntie Lash, and they be bringing the kids to the lash appointment. Those are the only kids that I really like at my lash appointments.
Right.
If I knew them from the belly on out.
Only time
we connected.
Other than that, leave them kids at
home.
Other
than that, you gotta read the policy.
Okay. So for you, what was the hardest part for you when you got started as a lash artist?
LOL. I have that question down for you too.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
I would say the hardest part for me becoming a lash artist is becoming a lash artist. And I say that because I went to college for nursing. So my family was just like really confused on like, where did you just wake up one day and say like, hey, I want to go and be a lash tech? Especially because I was really good at science, and I for my entire life, I kept saying, I want to be a nurse. I want to be a nurse. I want to be a nurse. So when it was time to send me off to college and you need to be this nurse that you've been saying you wanted to be, I realized that I got there and I was like, I don't really know if I really want to do this for real. And I really started to think like, did I really want to be a nurse, or was I conditioned to think that I wanted to be a nurse? And I say that because my grandmother's and my grandma was in the nursing field. My mother was in the nursing field. So for me, it kind of just, it was like, that's all I knew. That's all I saw. So for me, I just was thinking like, oh, well, it works for them. I see how we have a great, living and, stability.
Right.
So yeah, I do want to be a nurse. And then ironically, I was good at math and science, all the stuff that you need to be to be a nurse.
Yeah.
But then it's so funny. I had prayed to God one day so hard, and I'm like, I really don't want to do this. And I put a whole presentation. Instead of me doing my homework in college, I put a whole presentation together on why I don't want to be in nursing and why I need to leave the school. So I was still okay with being a nursing major. I just not at that school anymore. And then COVID happened. I was like, this perfect. This is God is literally answering my prayers right now today. So when COVID happened, I was like this, oh my God, God, is that you? And I said, yes, it's him. I went home, and because I was already selling strip lashes in college, because of course the girl need her coins,
Right.
I was selling strip lashes in college, had a photo shoot with my friends at the time in college. I was just like, oh, I need, the wave now was lash extensions. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to sell the lash strips and I'm going to do lash extensions so that way I'm not missing out on money. No way. If you don't wear strips, perfect, I do extensions. If you don't want to do extensions, perfect, I got strips. Either way, you should be coming over here.
You're good.
Either way, you should be coming over here because I got everything you need for the eyes.
Facts.
So the hardest part I would say is definitely doing it because, I feel like my family was just so upset that I just completely stopped thinking about college and just completely went strictly full self-employed business mode. And then again, you're doing this in COVID. So, to them, it was just looking like, I'm not sure where you're going. And for me to have been my mom's oldest child, first child, there were sacrifices that she had to make. So it was like, okay, the sacrifices is looking a little questionable right now.
Right.
So, and then, them knowing me and knowing that I like nice things, it was like, I don't know how well, that's going to do for you. Nobody in my family really does business. So it was like, I had no direction. I had no guidance. It was just like, I'm figuring everything out on my own. So I think it was blocking out their fear and just me staying true to my vision and me just making it my business to get it done. That would be the first hardest thing. The second thing is moving to Atlanta.
Yeah. How was that? Packing up your business and moving to another state. And a lot of people move to Atlanta because it seems like the place to be and everything's popping, but there is a lot of competition, especially as a lash artist. So how was that coming here and building up your clientele?
Coming to Atlanta and starting my business completely not over, but over, because that's what it feels like. It was very challenging, and I would still say I'm still not 100% where I want to be because you don't just grow a business over 3 years. You don't just grow a business overnight, especially in a city where no one knows you. Especially in a state where you have no family. So it's like people can't even put a word out because there's no people to put the word out. So it's like I definitely had to step up my marketing. I had to step up my connections. So this is where those networking events came in.
Exactly.
This is where those following up with girls that I met at networking events. And I was like, okay, cool. I like her energy. I like her vibe. She's doing better than me. That's who I want to be around. Atlanta will definitely humble you in terms of a sense of being in a room and being the one who's learning and not the one who is teaching someone else how to do something. Sometimes you have to be a student and not always the teacher. And that was the hardest part for me because coming from New York, I just knew so much people. And I was known in New York. So building up my clientele was literally the least of my worries. I didn't have to post, and I was booked the same, fully booked for the rest of the month, fully booked the whole entire month, squeeze-ins, everything. I could say I don't want to work this week and open it up and fully book that week because, I was high in demand. And then there wasn't a really lot of good lash artists in New York when I was starting out. So that right there also helped me, like, it ain't
Get
take,
booked.
exactly, it
Yeah.
ain't take that much work. So yeah, coming to Atlanta was hard. And it's funny because I was actually supposed to come the year down before, but I had a really bad car accident. And I had fractured my ribs, so I couldn't even do lashes for
Oh my
3 months.
gosh.
And it's so fun. Well, it's not funny, but so funny. It happened 3 days before I was supposed to move to Atlanta. And looking back at it now, I just honestly feel like God knew I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
And I can definitely attest I wasn't ready. And I felt like him knowing me, I was gonna do it anyway. And unfortunately, he was like, "Okay, I hate that you're a hard learner, but I have to really shake up the room in order for you to understand that now was not the time for you to go." The following year, I mean, I grinded so hard. Like, I grinded so hard because now it was personal to me. I could have almost died. And then the doctors was basically telling my parents that, like, it's a miracle that she did live. So I was just felt like, okay, I'd really have to, like, make my mark and make it count. Because if that's the case, then you could have just went out when you were supposed to go out.
Right.
So now I just look at things like, you're supposed to be doing this, because if you wasn't, then you wouldn't be here anymore.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
That's amazing. These are a lot of things that I did not know about you. And I'm glad that you're on here talking about the struggles of being a lash artist, because even though you may feel like you're not where you want to be, a lot of times I know I'm not where I want to be, but so many people look at where you are now and it's impossible for them to see what it really took for you to get there, because social media is a highlight reel. Like, we don't really know a lot of people's real stories behind building their brand, moving to a new city, growing their clientele, just being a business owner in general. And so I think that it's great that you're here telling people this part of your story, because people need to know it's not all butterflies and roses. Welcome to Atlanta, the place where your
Florida ceiling windows.
The place where your beauty business is about to grow. And since you mentioned the floor to ceiling windows, I think that is where a lot of the issues are coming from in the beauty industry, because right now lifestyle marketing is what we're doing.
We are paying. They're charging the prices to take care of that rent. And this goes back to where it's just like, okay, why are you charging $300 now? Because are you charging $300 because this is about to help your rent for the month, or are you charging $300 because your work is $300 worth?
Right.
And I think the biggest part about being in the beauty industry, or being a an entrepreneur, a business owner in general, is self-reflection. And no matter what you do, no matter what area you are in life, I think that everyone needs self-reflection, because you have to take a step back and say, is my work $300? Would I pay the next girl to do what I'm doing for $300 if this is the results that my clients are telling me that they're getting? The answer would be absolutely not.
Right.
You would be coming up there, girl, you fixing my hair right now.
Yeah.
But because it's you and your business, now you're telling me you don't know how I slept last night.
Yeah. And I mean, also, even with the lifestyle marketing, since I feel like a lot of people are doing the lifestyle marketing because they're trying to get people in the industry, get people to sign up for a training class. And so it's
mentorship.
Like, hey, so it's like, hey, if you want to do this, all you need to do is learn how to do lashes, when realistically there's so much more that goes into it. And a lot of times they might be making the majority of their money from education, or from being a mentor, or from being a course creator. And so it's selling a false dream of what it really looks like to be successful in the industry. Now, granted, you can make a lot of great money as a lash artist or as a hairstylist, whatever the case might be. But I think we need to be more realistic with the people that are coming into the industry. And so for my students, like, for everyone that wants to take a class with me, I willingly hop on the phone with them and do a consultation, because I want you to know, like, don't take my class if you think you're about to walk out of here and make six figures this year. I'm not the educator for you.
Perfect Dubai.
Yes. Okay. I'm not the educator for
This is not the class for you.
I am going to be very transparent with you. And I'm even transparent with people that talk about wanting to grow their business. Right now, everyone's trying to sell a dream of, if you go viral, you're going to all of a sudden make $1 million.
And be fully booked for the month.
For the month. A lot of times, and I have been viral multiple times, millions of views. And the post that went viral really didn't make me any money. or get any clients. If I'm just being honest, I went viral for funny content or relatable content, but it wasn't content that made someone say, I need to book an appointment with her.
Right.
A lot of times that content was a content that I looked at and I was like, hey, this sucked. And my clients are coming to me and they're like, yeah, this post is what made me come to you.
It'd be the one with 2 likes.
All of 2. And one of them was me.
All of 2. All of 2.
One of them was me.
And here you was. I'm going to book this appointment.
Let me see. What other questions do I... Oh, this is a good question for you. I think it's your turn to ask the question, actually.
So I'm trying to think if I should be spicy because... No, let me not be spicy just yet. Because basically I had said that I did write down the same question for you. So I actually do want to know that.
Okay. It's me putting all my questions on the same card.
What would you say was the most challenging part of building your brand? Because you're from Atlanta, right?
I am. Well, I was originally born in Chicago, but I have been here most of my life.
You from here now?
I'm from Atlanta, but I really hate claiming Atlanta. But at this point, I am from Atlanta. I've been here since I was
I'm so ATL. I'm so ATL.
Girl, I've been here since I was in the 3rd grade. The hardest part...
Girl, you're from Atlanta.
The hardest part of me growing my business, to be completely honest with you, I sucked as a lash artist in the beginning. And I sucked for a really long time. And so I never had...
What do you mean by sucked?
I mean, the next day, my clients' lashes are on the floor.
Retention, okay.
Like, to a different level. And that lasted for about 1.5 years. Shout out to my clients that are still with me since then. So for me, I actually had the opposite problem since I am from Atlanta. And when I got started in the beauty industry, I was also doing bottle service in Atlanta. So I'm already like flooded around a lot of women. So it's easy, like, come get your lashes done. So the problem that I had was that I was getting clients, but I was doing their lashes so poorly that they weren't coming back. And so I had to spend a lot of time really trying to learn how to be a better lash artist. And most of it is my fault because I was very cheap when it came to my lash training.
Okay, accountability.
Accountability. I was very cheap between both my classic and my volume training. I paid $500 together collectively. For both.
My class was $1,350.
Exactly.
My dad was like, you're going to do those lashes.
Exactly. But realistically, that's how much a good lash training is supposed to cost. A lash training where you were really going to learn the things that you need to learn.
I never needed another one.
I needed so much more training because when you're first getting started in something, you don't know anything. And so what the teacher tells you is basically
That's
law.
all you know.
Yeah, it's law. So what she was telling me, I thought was right. And I couldn't figure out what was going on. And so I wasted thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in clients because I was a really poor lash artist. And that is what motivated me to really spend a lot of time practicing. I was in the trenches. I would be here all day long.
I mean, that's good because that showed that you had, grit.
I was definitely... One thing about me, I've always been a hustler, okay?
You know what I'm saying?
Very dedicated. When I first learned how to do...
Because you could have been like, all right, I'm giving up. But the fact that I feel like you stuck it through, look how, look where it got you.
Yeah.
So it's just like, trust the process, literally.
So that was the hardest thing for me, was actually becoming a good lash artist. And like you said, being accountable and saying the prices that I want to charge, I know right now I realistically can't charge. And I think that's why my clients did stick with me, because I was very affordable. And if they did have anything happen to their lashes, I was so willing to fix it for them.
Yeah.
I always had great customer service. I just needed a lot of help as a lash artist.
Your first question, the climate.
Yeah.
It's the customer service.
Absolutely.
I feel like clients are willing to stick with you through thick, storm, whatever it is. They have to feel like, okay, she has great customer service. Like, I think establishing a good rapport with your client is hands down the most important thing as a business owner.
Yeah.
Because that's your character. That's your business character at the end of the day. So when people go to you, you know what I'm saying? Oh my God, hey girl, who did your lashes? They look so cute. Oh, my hair at the Lash Vault. She's really good, girl. She's always on time. You understand what I'm saying? It goes instantly into like who you are, who your who the business side of you is. So if you walking around telling people like, yeah, she did my lashes, but she was late, she was ratchet, she was ghetto, people hear that and like, yeah, I don't got time for that.
Yeah.
So I think customer service is really important.
And while we're on the topic of customer service, we all understand the value of a good review, but people do not understand how damaging one bad review can be for your business. You have to treat one negative review equivalent to 10 positive reviews. And so just think about it. On TikTok, we see people talking about the poor experience they had with a particular service provider. And when you go to the comments, you see 30 more people saying they had the same experience.
Yeah.
It spreads like wildfire, but I don't know if service providers don't care or if they look at it like, well, people are still going to come to me anyway. But the
It's the
reputation of your
mindset.
brand is everything. It is absolutely everything.
And you know, when people are still booking, that's what also, this is the self-reflection.
But it's a self-reflection on the clients too. If you went
like,
to someone,
why are you still going to her?
Yeah, if you went to someone
You ain't
and
that mad.
you had a terrible experience, why would you go back? I have walked out of appointments because I was sitting there for too long. You may not learn with everybody else, but you are going to learn with me.
And sometimes all it takes is one. And unfortunately, it's like, even with that, like, I feel like sometimes a lot of service providers, hair stylists, lash artists, sometimes we do need to be humbled. Because it's like, I think sometimes also as service providers, we look at them like, y'all need me.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But no, we need to start sitting back and being like, it's an honor that you want to come to me. Because like you said, the industry is thriving in Atlanta. There's many lash artists, there's many hairstylists. So it's like, you got to sit back and think like, they could have went to anybody else, but they chose to go to you today. And you should value that. And you should take that, you shouldn't take that lightly.
Yeah.
You should, be appreciative and grateful because there's people out here who don't have clients. And the whole time their customer service and work is great.
For my mentees that come to me and they ask me like, I want to go viral, I tell people all the time, I don't know how to go viral. I know how to build a business that keeps people coming back. And it all starts with you, with your customer service. And we just don't have enough accountability to say the reason I'm not booked is because people just don't like me.
It's you.
It's you.
It's you. You need to take a look in the mirror. It's you. What are you doing?
So while we're talking about this, let me ask you this question. Do you think there is a real difference between being a lash tech and a lash artist?
Yes, of course. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a lash tech.
I was a lash tech.
We was lash techs. But I think we're both lash artists. And it took a lash educator. We know her, Ashley. And I mean, she used to be a lash tech. And she sat down and said, Tia, I don't like that you introduce yourself as a lash tech. You are a lash artist. And I said, I never looked at it that way. And I didn't really think that there was much of a big difference in terms of definition. And when she broke it down to me, and I broke it down to myself, I said, you're absolutely right. I'm changing my name and my bio to lash artist, and I'm dropping the lash tech. Because a lash artist they're tailoring it to your eye shape. They're like designing it, you know what I'm saying, to fit you. And I don't mean fit you like you. I mean, you fitting the client that sits in your chair at that time, at that moment.
Exactly.
You're knowing their eye shape. You're knowing what curls are going to work for their eyes. You're even playing around with different lengths and saying like, hey, I know you want 18, but I don't think 18 on your eye shape, would complement you the best. So I feel like when it goes to lash tech, I look at lash tech as hustler, and I look at lash artist as a CEO. What are you doing to become a lash artist? Are you just using the curls that's always been in the industry and you're stopping there, or are you doing the extra mile to get to learn your client's eye shape and tailoring it to specifically to that client? I promise you, they love their sets even more.
Exactly.
And they actually look better. Because I've seen what I was used to doing on the client, and I put it side by side to now that I customized it. And I'm like this. Yeah, that was the lash tech in me.
That was the lash tech in me. There is a huge difference.
There's a huge difference.
Definitely. And it took a lot. It takes a lot for you to actually sit down and do some research and understand the different eye shapes.
Yes.
The different face shapes, to even play with some of the different curls. Because when we first get started in the industry, C, and D. Y'all was lucky if I even did a C. I did a D curl on everybody.
You was lucky if I did a D curl.
A D. Oh.
I hated D curl. I didn't even have it in my cart. You getting C or CC curl.
Facts.
And now it's a whole bunch of curls in that cart, and I'd be
Yeah.
like, I gotta organize this because this is sending my brain on a spin.
But that's how you transition into being a lash artist, is
Yeah.
understanding that there are more than 3 different types of eye shapes and face shapes
In the
and 3
lash
different types
market.
of clients. So you definitely need to have more than just 3 different curls that you typically go to. And that's been something that we really focus on here at the Lash Vault, is offering customized services for our clients. And like you said, they absolutely love it. They feel like it was customized and tailored to them. But it takes a bit longer. And that's the difference, like you said, between a lash artist and a lash tech. A lash tech is going to see that you booked a volume set. She's going to sit down and she's going to give you whatever volume set. A lash artist is going to see that you booked a volume set. You're going to go through a full consultation. You're going to see what they want. You're going to do an eye assessment, a face assessment, and not even just what looks good on them, but what is their lifestyle like? What do they do on the weekends? Do they typically wear glasses? Like things that actually really fit your customer and your client as a single individual, and not just, all right, we're going to give you whatever it is that you want to go to. I cannot believe a long time ago I got my lashes done. And we need to talk about that actually. What are some of our lash tech horror stories? But I'll never forget, I got my lashes done by one lash tech a long time ago, and she had informed me that the shortest length she had was a 14 millimeter.
That sounds a little hectic.
It was extremely hectic. Extremely hectic.
Deep sigh.
Deep sigh.
14 is the shortest. You need to go ahead and pack up this lash
My
cart.
inner corner
droop by the same night.
Leaving, I'm
literally
like,
droop by the same night.
going
That's
like
crazy.
this.
Like, what are we doing here? You playing around. Full day, you could have just gave me a little flare then. I would have figured something out.
Mascara in the middle or something.
Because this is not good. I honestly don't think I have a lash horror story. I honestly don't think I have a lash horror story, because I let my friend, my original 2 lash sisters, Abby and Lila, I think you met them. Yeah. Those are honestly the only 2 people that really do my lashes. Okay. Like, as you can see, they're not done. Like, I used to go back to New York to get my lashes done. I will go get my hair done, everything in New York, because I'm a person that I heard all of the horror stories. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I don't got time. And I definitely heard like Atlanta being the top state for horror stories. And I was like this, I really don't got time. And again, I know me. And I know the New Yorker me is not going to understand this. And you can't get me. I'm telling you right now, I'm not the one. And it's just like, you know what? I have to be mature and just not even put myself in certain positions. If I know... Yeah, discipline. If I know how I get and you don't know how I get, I don't need to be coming to you. Because that means if I, now
it's what's up. Yeah. Like, okay, so
fix this now.
You might not have any lash tech horror stories, but what is the craziest thing that's happened to you as a lash artist?
Girl. So, the craziest thing that happened to me as a lash tech, y'all, and this was when I was a tech. This is why I said lash tech. So after my car accident, I had to move my business to the Bronx. But I was in Brooklyn. That's where I had built my clientele up at first. And then because of the car accident, I just had to be more local and come to the Bronx so I could at least get to and from work without having to spend $8 there and $8 back home. Right. So a lot of my... Insane. So a lot of my clients, my clientele was in Brooklyn and Queens. They was like, girl, you got me all the way in the Bronx. And I was like this. I really don't have you here. You want to be here because you like my work. This girl, Myra, books she booked the fill-in. And you know how we feel about booking fill-ins when you know you need a full set. So that's a whole nother thing. And I had told her at her last appointment, I said, hey, hun, as per the policy, the next time you book an appointment, you do have to go ahead and book a full set. If you need removal, go ahead and add that on that as well, because you need a full set. You've had these lashes on longer than what the policy says. We're not about to keep doing fill-in on top of fill-in. That's nasty. Come on. Long story short, the girl disregards everything that I have to say, and it was her birthday, and I had her on Instagram, and I seen that somebody had smashed cake in her face. Just got her lashes done, I think, the night before or 2 days before, and had bottom lashes. So we could already know how this is going. A mess. She books a fill-in appointment like a week later, and she's basically telling me that she's on her way. And I said, wait a minute. I don't have time to give you a full set today. I'm thinking that you need to fill in. And I said, and now that I'm thinking about it, why did you ever book a fill-in appointment if you was really supposed to be booking a full set? This is where she kills me. She said, I thought the lashes would have held on longer. Black Lives Matter. And sent the fist and sent the emoji. That was my face. I was like, she is not getting service today or ever again. Because you're not even black. That was another thing. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's no longer funny.
Okay. You see how I just went?
Yeah, you're not black. And this is where you lose me now because I've been doing your lashes for 2 years. So if you ever felt like retention was the problem, you know what I'm saying, you would have voiced your opinion two years ago, a year ago. Retention was never an issue for you. Hence why you keep getting fill-in after fill-in because you don't need a full set.
Right.
So that's already point proven. But I ended up telling her, I said, hey, actually right now I'm with the client, but I actually think that your comment was very inappropriate. And even if you did come here today, I don't even feel comfortable with servicing you today because you made me, I'm telling you, you don't want to be around me today because I don't want to treat you any less than what I would have normally treated you because I'm not really feeling energy today. It was very inappropriate and I'm actually feeling like a little bit like side-eyed at you.
Yeah.
Like, you are not black. Don't ever send me a fist bump.
Talking about Black Lives Matter. Okay.
Yeah, so that was crazy. But the craziest part was me telling her don't come and she still came.
So what was that interaction like?
I left her right up there sitting because when I was at this shop that I did have, it was upstairs and downstairs.
Okay.
So I'm texting her and I'm already telling her, like I literally told her, I said, hey, I think you should get off the train. You should go on the opposite side and go back to Brooklyn. Because maybe, me talking like, hey, hun, today is not the day. Like, sometimes I also feel like clients make us feel like we're rude and we're disrespectful. But I also feel like in certain situations, you guys also don't respect this either. Exactly. So it's like, now, how do you want me to now respond to you? Because if I told you not once, nor twice, nor 3 times, but to don't come, and I'm already feeling like this is like racial slur. I don't know what's going on here. Right. Why would you even want to come that day? You understand what I'm saying? Like, this is not working. And then you're trying to tell me that I have to remember that you have to walk your dog and that I have to remember that you have a funeral. That has neither one of those things has nothing to do with me. You shouldn't even want your lashes done for a funeral anyway. I don't know who's in the casket that you have to be lash appointment sharp, but I left her upstairs while I was servicing my other clients. And I just I informed them upstairs like, hey, if so-and-so comes here, because she came there a lot. But I showed them a picture of her and I had let the reception know like, hey, like if she comes up here, you can allow her to sit there the whole entire time because I already informed her that she's actually not supposed to be here today. And if she just wants to waste her time and be in the Bronx in the shop, then she let her do that. But
she won't be servicing her.
I won't be servicing her. So
I think that's fair. I think that's fair because part of the freedom of us being an entrepreneur or a business owner, or when you go to any business for that matter, there is always a sign that says, we reserve the right to refuse service for any reason. And that is a very valid reason. And again, she wasn't looking at you as a service provider or whatever. She was looking at, I need my lashes done and this girl is going to do my lashes no matter what it is that I say, what it is I do. She's not thinking about you at all. She just knows she needed her lashes done.
Her coming to the shop, so the Black Lives Matter statement was like already like a big bother for me because I think at this time, this is also when we were going through like the COVID and it looking like they were killing off black people. So like this is like when Black Lives like Matter, the movement was like really going on at the time. So for you to have said that and not be black, I was like, okay, you probably just walked past the street that said Black Lives Matter. You don't see like this is a real thing in society right now. Like this is not like, oh, a little joke, when we're just saying like, oh, Black Lives Matter. No, like this is like a real movement right now. And it's like, you very know that I'm black. So I'm confused, on where you thought this was going. So I was already going to respond to her later on because, like I said, I was already, servicing clients, and it wasn't fair to them that I stopped and addressed her foolishness. Yeah. I have a business to still run. I have clients to still service. But then when she came, I'm like this, banned. Banned. Because now you can stay in Brooklyn, you can walk your dog, go to the funeral, and get your lashes done in an area near you. You don't even have to take an hour and a half train ride.
I don't have to be the one to service you.
No,
Somebody else can do it.
everyone's happy. I don't have to deal with your foolishness. You don't have to deal with the long commute. Perfect.
Period. It works
Sour
out.
and Prof. Never
That
seen her
is
since then.
crazy. That is crazy. I couldn't even imagine what I would say to somebody. We've had our fair share of unfortunate racial situations that happen in here, but thank God for the ban button.
I love that button. And you know what? Don't stress.
I won't even say anything.
And do not try to book under another name.
Yeah, a client can walk out and I'll say,
ban.
That'll be the last time I do that.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
The very last time.
That is crazy.
I have a question for you.
Okay. That was all my questions. I could come up with some stuff on the spot, though.
If you could give one piece of advice to the younger version of you knowing what you know now, what would it be?
Only one? One piece of advice?
Throw some at me.
I think if I could give my younger business owner self a piece of advice, one of the biggest things that I would tell myself is to focus on myself. Because social media,
that's the one,
especially today, everyone is showing their day in the life videos and their content and behind the scenes and all this stuff. And so I start to say to myself, well, maybe I need to be doing things like she's doing it, or maybe I need to be doing things like she's doing it, or I wonder how she's doing this. I wonder how she's doing this. And it confused me a lot as a business owner because it's hard for me to achieve my goals if my goals are really somebody else's goals. If I'm constantly looking at what somebody else is doing. And mind you, you don't even really know what these people have going on for real because
and what they're doing to live this lifestyle.
Exactly. You don't know what these people really have going on for real because content is just content. We're always just showing the highlights. Right. And so while I might be trying to do what this person is doing, I don't even know what that person's end goal is. And so that distracted me a lot because I felt like I was trying to be like everybody else. And it's almost a disservice to the gift that God specifically gave me because it is a gift specifically for me.
Assigned to you.
The way that I show up as an entrepreneur is supposed to be how I show up, not how Tia shows up or how anybody else shows up. And I had to learn to literally just stay in my own lane. It's okay for you to clap for people and to say that's amazing that she did that, but still come back into your own business and say, well, this is how I'm going to do it and how I'm going to show up. And yeah, just minding my own business is something I wish I would have told myself a long time ago because I wasted so much time trying to show up how everybody else shows up. And I can't be everybody else. I can only be myself.
You can only be yourself.
Shoot, that's one thing. And then also, there are so many things I wish I could tell my younger self.
It's okay, me too.
Another thing, too, is manage your finances.
That's the one. That is the absolute
finances. Because we are making fast money, right? It's fast money. It's coming in. Ooh, I made $500 today, $1,000 today. And
$1,500 bag tomorrow.
$1,500 bag tomorrow. And we don't even really know what we spent to actually make that money. And that was definitely, absolutely the biggest mistake I made as an entrepreneur was I was not managing my finances. And so I was making money, but money was literally slipping through the cracks. Like I had a whole year where I couldn't even tell you where all my money went. And
literally.
That's most of us though, because again, we're thinking as just lash artists. We're just doing lashes.
I made how much this month? But so then where is it?
It's not in my bank account.
Because I don't know if someone's stealing it when I'm sleeping at night or what's going on.
But yeah, we're like thinking as lash artists and we're doing lashes and we're making money. But as a business owner understands like what's coming in, what's going out, profit and loss. And it took me a long time and a lot of very, very, very hard lessons to learn to be able to manage my finances. Those are probably the two biggest things that I could tell myself. It's a lot of things, but those are the two things that I would tell myself.
That'll definitely do it. I actually think that those would be mine. But in terms of like focusing on yourself, I really want to say leave the boys alone. They will literally always be there because, you know, as women and then women in business, there's a difference.
Yeah.
You know, being a woman and then being a woman in business is already hard within itself because I feel like there's a lot of guys that think they're attracted to, you know, like that. Oh, my girl is a, you know, business owner. She's this, she makes her own money. But it's like, can you really handle that? You know, like, so when your money is low and mine is high, how as a man, you know what I'm saying? How do you maneuver as a man? How do you treat me as a man? And just also picking the wrong boys, because it's like, you think that to hear a guy say like, oh yeah, my shorty, you know what I'm saying, got the money. As a young girl, you feeling like, yeah. But it's like, as you get older, that's actually a red flag, because you should never be counting my money. At this point, it sounds like more than me.
I don't
You
care how
know,
many lashes you see me
I don't
do. I
care
don't got
how
no
many
money.
lashes. Like, just even saying, "Oh, how many clients you got today?" is already a turn off for me. Because I feel like you trying to count how much money I made for the day, for the week, for the month, and that's too calculated for
Yeah.
me. And I would definitely say, like, stay into yourself until you feel like this is the right moment, or at least till you reach a certain part in your business to where you find like, okay, this is going well. Now I can add something else in.
Yeah.
I feel like trying to do both not with the right partner is, that's like an absolute no.
Yeah. And to your point, I can agree with leaving the men alone, but to add to that, there is a lot of power in having a good partner. And understanding what a good partner looks like
my
for
question
you.
for you.
Yes, understanding what a good partner looks like for you, but just as a general statement, and we hear women say this all the time, but you should not be dating a man that cannot do anything for you. The man, the way that I look at it and the way that it is even discussed in the Bible is that
Lead and protect.
lead and protect, and not just lead and protect. What's the last one? Provide.
Yeah, I ain't forgetting. No, I got that one.
Lead,
but I just feel like
and provide.
if you ain't leading, you can't be providing.
You can't provide. And so a man, if you are going to be dealing with a man, especially if you're a woman in business or a powerful woman or a woman who makes her own money, the man that you are with should absolutely be able to help you. And that doesn't just mean financially. He shouldn't just be giving you money. He should be able to be a good person, a good wise counsel for you to be able to have conversations with to actually grow your business. And until then, there is literally no point in having a man as a woman in business. Otherwise, what are you doing it for? Just to say you got one?
This is why I don't have a man.
And I actually like, there is a man will literally drain the life out of you if it is the wrong one, and it will ruin your business.
And it pulls you away from your business.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, because you pour so much into him, and it's like, okay, well, I have nothing left for me now.
Exactly.
Or now you're just exhausted, by trying to do everything yourself because you're upset. Like, so why do I do have this partner? So I think you spend more time frustrated at the fact that you have a partner instead of just getting rid of the partner and just be like, okay, problem solved, and then now that gives you more time. It gives you everything that he didn't do. It should be like it was already out of the picture anyway because he wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
So it definitely does allow there to be room for the right guy to come into the picture.
Right.
And I think that us as women, if the man, not the boy, if the man is not showing you signs of like, you're somebody I could grow with, you're somebody who I could commit with, I just also feel like that right there should be enough for you to like step away. And like, it's really okay to be like lonely sometimes because I know me, I thrive the most when I'm lonely.
Hello.
I don't have no distractions. Perfect.
Yeah.
I thank God.
Thank you for clearing my path for greatness.
Move everything out the way.
I mean, but it's hard for women, especially today, because we idolize relationships so much, and
that's the problem right there. God is a jealous God. So anything that you're idolizing or putting before him, he's already going to take it away.
Yeah.
So if you find a man that you feel like you got to be with him all day, every day, and that's the only person you want to talk to, that's the only thing you want to do is be up around him all the other days, like, eventually I just don't see that working anyway because, come on.
Yeah.
We're old now. We should both have our own separate lives and come back at the end of the night. How was your day? How was my day? Perfect. I don't want to see you all day. That means you're not working hard enough or I'm not working hard enough.
Facts. To your point with idolizing men and idolizing relationships, how is it that with what we see on social media today, because it seems like that's what we do, we idolize relationships. How do you as a business owner, because I know you're very faith-based and you should be. But how do you find the strength to separate what is culturally popular as a business owner or even just as a woman with what we know God actually wants for us as business owners and women?
Ooh, this question is good. This is the tea. Honestly, I want to say it's very hard. And it has been very hard because I actually just got out of a relationship. And I realized, like, yeah, I'm done. And I honestly do think that with me getting closer in my word and me getting closer and me rebuilding back up my relationship with God, it definitely does ease, and it gives me a level of peace that I don't think no man could ever surpass nor take away from me. And I feel like God actually did need me to be here and single, and whatever happened in my last relationship, it needed to happen. One, so that I could get closer with God, and for two, for the right man to come along. You know, dating men who don't really have no direction in life, but I have direction in life. That's never gonna work because we're unequally yoked.
Right.
And I think that, you know, reading God's word does allow me to really submit to him. And when I say sub, I mean like beneath him. You know, like it's no longer about what I want for me.
Right.
It's really about what he wants for me, because obviously he knows what's best for me. And I feel like sometimes as women, we think we know what we want, and we think we know this man is perfect, and we think we know what's best for us, and we really don't. Because if we do, then we wouldn't be in certain situations
Right.
or making certain decisions.
Yeah.
And I feel like just allowing me to be by myself also allows me to relearn myself, because I'm growing. You understand what I'm saying? I need to find someone who I can grow with, and learn to be with someone who is willing to grow with me.
Right.
You know, like we should be growing individually, but then we should also be growing together. I kind of really want to say, like, I really do think it just boils down to me getting, like, into my word more. Because when I see the men that are in the Bible and the qualities of a good man, and even a quality of a good woman,
Right.
you know, it does, again, it goes back to self-reflection. Are you a good woman? You know what I'm saying? So that someone could be a good man to you. Do you know what a good man looks like?
Right.
And just realizing that, like, do what you have to do for yourself, so that when the right person comes along, there is no confusion.
Yeah.
He'll be meeting you where you're at and bringing something to the table, versus trying to take it away or being a distraction.
Right.
Because if he's distracting you, then that's already hands down not the man for you. Because if he was the right man for you, he wouldn't be a distraction. He would be adding on in a good way, not in a negative way.
Exactly. And I like that point that you said of, like, actually really understanding what is going to be good for you, because I don't think that a lot of us as women, we don't spend enough time really understanding ourselves to even
Right.
know what a good partner is going to look like for us. And spending time with yourself to get to know yourself, number one, but also spending time with yourself to love yourself. Like, if you don't love yourself properly, you're gonna be okay with a man coming into your life and not loving you properly as well too, because you don't even know what self-love looks like or what it feels like. And going through breakups and heartbreaks, in the moment they hurt, but I feel like when you're able to step out of them, you can be grateful that God delivered you from them. But to spend the time to say, well, what does a good relationship look like moving forward? What does Myera or what does Tia want moving forward in a relationship? What's going to be necessary for me to have for myself to even be able to attract the man that I want? Because we've already talked about accountability and self-reflection. At what point do we reflect on our actions ourselves and say, how is a high value man? And I say high value man loosely because that's not what we're on this podcast for today.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we could get into it, but that's not what we're on here for today. But how does the man that I say that I want, how is he going to be attracted to me when I don't even have those qualities and those characteristics myself? I don't uphold those characteristics myself. And so spending time with yourself and really becoming, I hate to sound cheesy, but becoming that girl that is attracted to the life that she wants, and not just the life that she wants, but also the life that God wants to be able to give her.
Right.
What do you need to submit to God to be able to get those things back?
Absolutely. I also think it does also go into going into the part where you had mentioned social media. I've actually deleted social media.
I was wondering where
Because
have you been?
yeah, I had to delete social media because of that. It allows you to feel like you're missing out on something. You know, sometimes it allows you to feel like, oh my God, everyone has this and everyone has that. And it's just like, no, and it's just like sometimes also when you know people in real life and you do see certain things on Instagram, and it's just like, yo, if I didn't know her for real, I'll be like, You know what I'm saying? Like, dag, this is the life that I want to be living. But it's just like, no, I don't want to be living that life.
Exactly.
So I think it also did teach me to be like content with what I have going on. And even if that means be lonely, at least I'm not getting hurt. Or at least, you understand what I'm saying? At least there's no damage being done because there's no one there to do that.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like you do need to go into a situation healed, because a lot of time as women or even as men, you know, you're just wanting to go on to the next person so that you're not lonely. And it's like sometimes it's in that loneliness where you learn yourself. It's in that loneliness where you'll hear God. It's in that loneliness where you'll get stuff done. So it's like, I like the loneliness now, because when I'm like not lonely, sometimes you're around the wrong people. You know what I'm saying? Just to say you're not alone.
Right.
So now you're in the wrong environment. You're around the wrong people. You're doing the wrong things. And it's just like, I honestly think that that's just honestly what happened to me. Like, you know, moving to Atlanta, I was like the new girl in town. So it was just like, okay, you know, dibbling and dabbling and doing stuff, certain things, and, you know, just being everywhere with everyone. And it's like, yo, this is not even what I came here for. You know, and I feel like, you know, put social media down. Literally the things that are on social media will always be there.
Yeah.
So, and that's also another thing. And I feel like I've actually been very happier without social media, because I really don't care to know what's going on in other people's life, because I'm so focused on what's going on in mine that I can't even fathom to care about what's going on in your life.
Facts.
You know, especially if it ain't, you know what I'm saying, if it's made up anyway. And I feel like sometimes as people, we do get so caught up in what everybody else is doing. It kind of goes back into what you said. Know what God has planned for you and predestined for you, and trust that whatever he has for you is so much more far greater than whatever you think is great for you. And sometimes he does have to take things away in order to bring them back.
Right. Focus. Focus. I like that point.
Focus.
So if you can leave our guests with one gem to take as a lash artist, what would that one gem be before we close out today?
Okay, one gem that I have for an aspiring or even in a future lash tech, I would say get to know yourself. And I say get to know yourself because once you get to know yourself, you'll know your targeted audience. You'll know your niche. You'll put you in your business. And a lot of times people won't even come to you because your work is good. They'll come to you because they like you. Your work being good is just a plus. But I've had a lot of people book me, not even because of my work, because they was like, oh, well, like your person, you know, like your personality is so good. And sometimes people just really want to be around genuine love. In today's times, that is so hard to find. Genuine, you know what I'm saying, love with no malice, no bad energy and no bad vibes. And it's just like when you're a good person, people are naturally going to be attracted to you. So I would just say just focusing on yourself and staying true to yourself also. And I think that right there would just take you far.
I think that was the perfect gem to leave a future lash artist with. I second that tenfold. Well, thank you, Tia, for coming on
Thank
here
you for
today.
having
This
me.
was so amazing.
Yes.
Our first one. Let everyone know where they can connect with you.
You can catch me on Instagram at ak.lash.
Make sure you guys follow with her, connect with her, and also let us know if you like this video. Of course,
Definitely.
like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any other questions or things that you want to know in our future segments, leave those below. But thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
And we will catch y'all next time.